Dawson Rider review.
Hey YouTube, Dawson Rider here. Welcome to my review for the Power Rangers Beast Morphers Season 2 episode, the Silva Switch, for the US airings, which I think the only thing I like about this episode really is the pun of the Silva Switch, because Nate's name is Silva, and then, you know, silver is Steel's ranger color, and it's like if you said Silva like Joey Wheeler, like Silva, baby dragon. So it's a clever pun title. But this episode was my least favorite of the season, and had my least favorite thing in Power Rangers, in Toku, in the world ever, which was It's Great to Be Human. I hate you! I saw it in the international airings, didn't like it. I was like, as I sat on it more, I thought, will I change my mind? Yes, I hate it even more now. So it was my least favorite thing. I mean, there was some decent aspects to this episode. It was a classic body swap episode with Nate and Steel switching bodies, and it was all about Steel getting to see, you know, what it was actually like to be human, and then Nate getting a little bit of insight into what it's like to be a robot. And so there was some interesting and funny stuff there that I did kind of like in a way. And I thought that was kind of a good device for this. I still feel like they could have overall gone a different direction with Steel's storyline, which I'll touch on a little bit in a second and later on in the season. But it was a good idea, I think, for the storyline they're wanting to do, and it led to some humorous moments. Nate's actor was clearly enjoying himself. I liked the attention of, like, they both had a little bit problems fighting, not being used to each other's bodies and whatnot, and all that jazz. But then you get to the It's Great to Be Human thing, where Steel does this huge musical number and the whole juice bar gets involved. Now, I'm going to repeat a lot of the same stuff that I said in the international airing, but the thing is, I'm not a fan of musical sequences personally. So I wouldn't have liked the sequence regardless. I found it to be obnoxious. I just really wanted to punch Nate the whole time, even though it was Steel. And I didn't like the sequence. But even so, you know, I've never liked that type of thing. It's not my cup of tea. If it's yours, great. I prefer coffee. The thing is, though, even if I didn't like the sequence or if I liked it, it was all about the context. And this was the first time in Power Rangers that I can think of that, like, broke reality. And it's kind of ties back to the same thing I had a problem with Victor and Monty, is even in this absolute, you know, knucking futz Power Rangers world, where the world is crazy and stupid, this broke reality, and some of the stuff Victor and Monty would do would break reality in a way that, like, and I feel like that says a lot when watching Power Rangers, and it feels like, yeah, this wouldn't really happen. It feels off. And the fact that it, you know, I don't think the costume changes happened, at least I hope not, but the fact that, for whatever reason, the Rangers and all these strangers in the juice bar decided to join in this dance number. That really happened in the world. They all decided to do this. That's what made it bad for me. Like, I didn't like it in general, but if this would just been a dream sequence or something, I still wouldn't have liked the sequence. But it was the fact that it actually happened. I mean, pretty much any other time we've had anything like this, there's been an explanation. Even back during the original MMPR, Saban, Zordon era stuff, it would be like a spell or a monster that caused it. And so there was always context for it. Like, I think one of the more recent ones in terms of a number like that, it wasn't full-on musical, but there was that episode in Dino Charge where the monster made them party and stuff. And I thought that was kind of obnoxious too, but there was context for it. And a couple people have asked me since this episode came out, like, oh, well, wasn't this better than the Triceralots song? And the Triceralots song was annoying, but I prefer that to this because of the context for it. It didn't break reality. There was a character context for it. Don't get me wrong, both are still annoying, but it's all about the context with this, and the context, I think, is what annoyed me about it the most. And I think this could have been really effective as a Steel dream sequence. I think that would have made more sense. Or it could have been a scenario which I think would have been funnier and made the sequence a little bit more tolerable for me if Steel was doing all this by himself at the juice bar and he imagined all this stuff happening around him, and then, you know, you zoom out and everyone's looking at him like he's crazy. I think that would have been funnier, because then you can still have the stupid sequence, and, you know, the actor can have the fun, and you can have, you know, the people that like it can enjoy it, but then it doesn't break reality, and then it makes more sense for Steel's character. And it would have been a good comedic beat, I think, for Steel's character that would have felt very in line with him. So I don't know. I think there was a bunch of different ways they could have gone about it. And I don't know. It broke reality, and I feel it even throws the tone of this season further off, especially considering some of the connections they're going to make later on, which I think made it worse. And then at the end, they do switch back, and they foreshadow, you know, some stuff what they might do later with the Switch machine, which they also used to help Chaku. And that was at least a nice little connection to what's going to come after and what came before with that. I still feel they could have gone a different direction with Steel. Like, they opened the episode with him wanting to taste ice cream, and that's relatable, and Nate's being kind of a d-bag and like, oh look, I can taste ice cream and you can't. I can see that. You want to taste ice cream. That's relatable. But given that PR, especially in this last decade, has been so preachy with messages, you think they would use Steel's storyline as an opportunity to accept yourself from who you are rather than wanting to change. And I'll get more into that later, but I think they could have taken that a different direction. But we'll see what I'm talking about later. But anyway, that's it for this one, guys. What did you think of It's Great to Be Human? Let me know in the comments as always. Until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps and ring that bell so you can get my videos. Awesome Writer, signing out.